Okay. All right, today we're going to talk about rounding, right? Okay. So basically rounding, to round something means um, to round means to estimate, like it's like an approximation. It's like an approximation, right? It's like the word approximation means, sorry, approximation. Approximation, the definition of approximation means to be close to. To be close to. It's not equal, right? So equality, to be close to, right? So, and the approximation symbol is this, right? Approximation doesn't mean equal, right? Equal means, or equality means to be the same, right? And it's represented by the symbol this, which means equality. The approximation means to be close to, right? But it's not equal to. It's not equal to, right? Rounding is used in the context of decimals, right? And is used when we don't need to find the exact answer or like the exact like decimal when approximation is enough, right? So for example, like if you have something like 0.45, right? If you have something like 0.45 and 0.45, if you wanted to find like what is the exact answer, right? The exact answer is 0.45, right? But if you said what is the approximation, or what is the rounded answer, that would depend on what you're rounding it to, depending on what the question asks, right? Or depending on what you're rounding it to. If the question says we want to round it to the nearest tenth, right? If we want to round it to the nearest tenth, then it means that we're rounding it to, this is the tens place, this is the hundredths place, and this is the ones place, right? So when we round it to the nearest tenth, it means we're rounding it to the second number, to the number after the decimal point, right? So, and when you round, right, if the number is 5 or up, you go up to the next number. If it's 4 or lower, you go down, right? So in this case, if we have 0.45 and we're rounding it to the next number, to the next thing, because the hundredths place is 5 and we're rounding it to the nearest tenth, that means that the rounded or the approximation answer is 0.5. You see what I'm saying? Because you're rounding it up to the nearest tenth. This is the tenth place, so you're rounding it up to the nearest tenth, right? So the exact answer is 0.45, but the rounded answer is 0.5. If you said something like, I have 2.32, right? And the exact answer is 2.32. But if I said we want the rounded answer, and let's say you said we wanted to round to the nearest whole number, right? Remember, this is a decimal point. Remember, this is hundredths, tens, and ones. So when we round to the nearest whole number, the answer to this would be 2, because the tens place is 3 or lower, right? It's 3, and since it's 5 or lower, we round down. So the answer is 2, not 3, right? Let's say we had another example. Let's say we had 3 point, let's use a more difficult question. Let's say we had 3.258, right? And we want the exact answer, right? The exact answer is 3.258, right? But let's say we wanted the rounded answer, right? And we said that the rounded answer, we want to round to the nearest hundredths, place, right? So then the nearest hundredths place, let's round down to the nearest hundredths. This is ones, this is the decimal point, this is tenths, this is hundredths, and this is thousandths, right? So if we round to the nearest hundredths place, right, it'll be 3.26 because the thousandths place is an 8. So since the thousandths place is an 8, we round it up down to 3.26. We round to 3.26, right? Because we're rounding to the nearest hundredths. Got it? So this answer would be 3.26, right? Now, when we are rounding, right? When we're rounding, we have to use the approximation symbol to indicate that we're rounding, right? So instead of, see how we wrote it as exact answer, rounded answer, round to the nearest hundredths? We can do that, right? But when it says, well, you want to round, we will say, okay, well, 3.258 is about 3.26, right? When it's written like this, it means it's close to, in English, it's close to, or is about. Is about. So 3.258 is about 3.26. 2.232 is about 2. Or it's close to 2. Right? 0.45 is, it's close to 0.5. 2. Right? Because the approximation symbol means that it's close to, it's not exactly the case. It's not exact. Okay? So we have to notice that so that we understand what it means. Okay? That's it for today. So basically just understand that rounding means when we are giving an estimation or we're giving an approximated answer, the approximation symbol is represented by this little squiggly line, which means the squiggle. Equality means the equal sign, and that when we are rounding, it depends on where we're rounding to, which means that we have to understand the place value of where we're rounding to, right? So once we understand that, then we're able to, we're able to round, right? And we use the example 2.32. We said we wanted to round to the nearest whole number. The nearest whole number is 2. So the nearest whole number is 2. If we rounded 3.258, and we wanted to round it to the nearest hundredths place, then we round it to 3.26. If we do 0.45 and we round to the nearest tenth, then it's 0.45. And when we round, we have to understand that if it's 5 or up, then we round up. If it's 4 or lower, we round down. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.